Hey, what's up? This is Eric from FiveTwenty Collective Podcast. Do me a favor. I need you to check out the brand new video from Calvin and Kimberly Rice Cofield. It's called I'm Straight. It was directed by Ray Knowledge, and it is one of the most infectious bangers of the year. The up-tempo, hard-hitting slapper was produced by K-Drama, and on it, Kimberly utilizes memorable lines, flow, and a powerful delivery, while Calvin rips it apart with slashing bars, clever metaphors, and encouraging lyrics. The catchy chorus declares that the Detroit-based husband and wife ride for God and God only. They are straight on everything else. So if you are individuals that display a slick fashion sense, a great taste in cars, and amazing cinematic angles, watch and share the I'm Straight music video today. It is an unforgettable visual experience courtesy of the Cofields with the help of Ray Knowledge.
That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem.
FiveTwenty Collective, where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage.
Take a ride through my old town, old me, old Sean. Might need boats, cry oceans. Here float down my old child fear. So broke, no hope round here. Been trying to cope since like 01. Better slow down for your cosign, you might ocean.
What's good? Welcome back to the FiveTwenty Collective Podcast, where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage. It's Eric Boston. I'm with Nate Shelton as always, and we are in the field on the Trackstars Podcasting Network. Nate, what's good, man?
Oh, I can't believe we're already a month into the 2020. It's been an up and down month, but for CHH wise, I feel we're off to a very hot start.
Definitely. The culture, the genre, the space, whatever you want to call it, is had a very strong start to 2020, I do believe. And I'm excited for what's coming up, man. We're going to dive into all that here on this month's podcast. Nate, before we jump into it, though, got to give a shout out to our guys at Rapture Ready Productions, because this episode of the podcast is sponsored by them. Rapture Ready Productions, their mission statement is to equip, uplift, and shift Christian culture through various media outlets and platforms. They have a whole slew of great content constantly flowing, guys. So make sure you check out www.rapturerayproductions.com for more info and the latest updates that's coming from the label. And make sure you check out our guy Jay Dunn. He has just dropped his new track, I Choose You. It features Marcus Selders. That is the newest artist to join the Rapture Ready team. So yeah, man, support our guy Jay Dunn. Him and the whole team over there at Rapture Ready doing awesome things, Nate.
Yeah, all kinds of great stuff going on. I haven't checked out that Jay Dunn single yet. I'm going to have to check that out and see what he's got going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that just dropped, man. It just dropped. So, one of those, like actually kind of several Valentine's Day releases, but, it's coming off of that release back right there on the end of the year, December 31st, January 1st, right there of their compilation album, New Mecca, which I thought was really, really done well, man.
All right, well, I'm going to have to take that recommendation and check it out.
For sure. And guys, while Nate's checking that out, make sure you check out what we've got going on at www.FiveTwentyCollective.com. While you're on the site, hit that subscribe button so that you get the latest content that is delivered right to your email inbox. You can also check us out on social media at 520CHH. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So, Nate, man, tell me, what's been going on for you? I know you said it's been a little up and down, but we've seen some good stuff happening in CHH. Man, just, what's happened since last time we got to get on here and chop it up?
Well, I know we're going to get into this a little bit more, but a little bit later, but, a couple people dropping some really dope projects. Just all around for me this year, the genre CHH, everybody stepped up their game musically. It's just really great to see. Everybody's putting in work on their craft and music quality. I think just alone this first month has been really something that has jumped off the page at me.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting, man. And I know you're keeping up on those drops. You know, you're adding new music to the Sauce playlist. You know, we got the Working playlist that's growing, man. You know, just a lot of really cool stuff happening around here that I'm excited about. And one thing I'm excited about as well, Nate, is just the fact that this podcast, man, it keeps moving forward. It keeps growing. And honestly, I want people to be involved with it, Nate. So, guys, if you're listening, you want to get, you know, plugged in, or you want to just help support the growth of the 520 Collective podcast, do me a favor, hit us up on Anchor. It's anchor.fm/520-collective. You can go on there and there's a lot of options, guys. You can support us if you want to drop a little donation in there, or they actually have where you can leave a voicemail for us, and we can add those to the show. Just a lot of cool things. You can, you know, at the very least, jump in there and just share our episodes with the people that you know need to hear it, man. Like, so once again, it's anchor.fm/520-collective. So right there on Anchor, you know, a big shout out to them, and a big shout out, Nate, to the team over at Godify Streams, man. They picked up the 520 Collective podcast. We are featured on Godify along with, you know, the team over at Trackstars, our guy Jason over at Solomon's Porch. So just a lot of cool stuff happening with Godify as well.
Yeah, you know, our reach keeps growing. It's exciting. You know, God's taking us places we never imagined. So I don't know about you, but I'm just going along for the ride and see where we end up here.
For sure, man. Well, you know, one thing that we did on the last podcast, Nate, that was a little new from what we did in season 1, is we actually took a little bit of time out and we kind of talked about some stuff we'd been reading in our recent devotionals. And I'll tell you what, Nate, we had some good response to that. So we want to keep that rolling, man. And, you know, as we were preparing for this month's show, I was reading through that new devotional book that I got for Christmas from Bob Goff. Really cool book, guys. Great writer. If you haven't, you know, read any of his stuff, check it out. I highly recommend it. But man, I was reading the devotional one day, Nate, and this really stood out to me. The title of it was, God isn't afraid of our doubts. He's way more concerned when we fake it. And I'm going to just be honest with you, man. This really hit home for me. It got me thinking about not just myself, but CHH and, you know, just where people are at and where we can hold each other accountable. You know, it really comes down to the fact that we cannot hide who we really are, especially from God, man.
Right. And it's so, I mean, if you are in reading your Bible constantly, I mean, look at all the people that God chose throughout the scriptures, and they were doubting themselves constantly. Probably, I mean, they're probably right up there with each other, with each of us, as how much they really doubted what God was going to do with them. So, I mean, to me, God knows what you're thinking 24/7. So if you're trying to fake it, you're not. You might be fooling other people, but you're definitely not fooling Him.
Right. And, you know, kind of to piggyback off that, you know, this really comes down to, you know, and this was one of the messages in this devotion, was that He's not surprised when we don't understand, right? I mean, there's just think about it. I mean, you think about, you know, obviously you and I talk, you know, more than just on this podcast, so we know what's kind of going on with each other. You know, and you talked about how the year's kind of been a little up and down, and honestly, you know, the last part of 2019 into a little bit of this year has been kind of, you know, rocky for me as well. And when we hit those times, man, you know, it's like, dude, I'm trying to do what's right. I'm trying to do what I feel like I'm being led to do, but I don't get why it's not working out like I think it should, you know? and you start second guessing those choices. But I think it comes down to, at least for me, Nate, that God's been saying, hey, I've put you here so that you can learn that you do not need to worry, that you don't need to doubt. You need to be just confident in the place I have you in.
Right. And that's been the biggest thing for me. It was funny. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday, similar along these lines, about just trusting him and looking back at all this stuff. You know, 3 times I've doubted if he's going to pull me through a situation or, you know, be able to just get through something. And all I got to do is look back at all the examples that God has brought me through and where I've been and where I am at now, and just have faith and trust that he's going to keep doing what he said he's going to do.
Right. Well, you know, and like the devotional was saying, you know, God isn't as concerned about the outcomes as we are. And I think we get stuck in those places, Nate, where we're like, okay, if I do X, Y, Z, what's that result? You know, what does that look like if I put the time and effort into this? You know, am I going to have these regrets? You know, there's plenty of examples where God's like, hey, you know, I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm not asking or demanding that that this goes exactly according to plan. I mean, it's going to go exactly according to his plan, I think, is what we first of all need to realize. But, you know, he's telling us not everything's going to go to our plan. The one thing that can happen, though, is that we're his while we're trying to, you know, reach these outcomes. And so, you know, I think that it goes back to, we don't have to be afraid of those doubts, because we can remember that, hey, no matter what happens, I'm his, and that is enough.
Exactly. And just, again, you know, he knows what he knows we have the doubts, and it's just a matter of trusting his plan for us and following him and being faithful. And obviously, as humans, that's definitely easier said than done.
Right. Well, man, and Nate, it leads me to what is possibly my favorite quote from Bob Goff. And I want to ask you this before I maybe throw it out there, you know. So what is it that we can do in those situations where we are being afraid? We've talked about, you know, we need to remember that we're his. We're talked about what he's concerned with. What can we tell ourselves? Because, I mean, there's some of this stuff that, you know, I think our human mind just struggled to deal with. And I think Bob Goff kind of breaks it down beautifully for us in this quote that I want to hit on. But, you know, I think, you know, what have you been telling yourself when you're in these, like, valleys, when you're in these times of, like, man, I don't get it. What am I doing wrong? What, you know, why did this not turn out this way? Like, I think we have to find our ways to deal with that. Like, what's something that works for you, Nate?
For me, like I was saying earlier, is just, you know, being reminded of times he has, you know, brought me through something, you know, kind of with, as an example, the whole FiveTwenty platform that we've started. There's been times I wondered, are we doing the right thing? Is this going the direction it needs to go? And then something will happen, you know, and it's something that only God could have made happen. And it's just those reminders. In my personal life, sometimes you just got to get back in the Word, read the promises that He's given you, and know that, you know, God has got everything under control. He already knows what's going to happen. We just have to trust that His plan is perfect.
For sure. So let me get hit on this quote, man, because I think it speaks directly to those of us within the CHH culture. Without, you know, I do not believe that this was the intention of Bob Goff whenever he said this. But, you know, I think a lot of us maybe sometimes take time to try to fit into a mold or into a particular look or a sound that's maybe not necessarily us, right? You know, we've seen these conversations on social media, right? Especially here lately, you know, like, hey, you know, embrace your sound, you know, embrace your passion, your direction, and stop trying to just ride in that lane with everyone else, right? Do your thing. And what Bob Goff said was, be real enough with our doubts so that he, meaning Christ, can be Jesus enough with grace. And I don't know about you, Nate, but that really hit home. It was like, wow, it was like kind of this mind-blowing thought, even though it's so simple. Let me say it one more time, and I want to hear what you think. Be real enough with our doubts so that he can be Jesus enough with grace.
That is so true. And like you said, it's so simple, but so profound at the same time.
Yeah, don't let our doubts take away from the grace that he is trying to show us, right? It's crazy to just think about how much we get in our own way, you know?
Yeah, and it's just, you know, the mind can be a terrible thing sometimes, and, you know, you just gotta remind yourself, basically, God's got you, and just relax, and he's got it all under control.
Definitely. Well, man, you know, one thing I think that we have seen, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, is we've had some drops happen since the beginning of the year, specifically some projects that I think we've seen these artists, you know, not worrying about those doubts, that's really embraced who they are and just put it out there for us as listeners, man. And, you know, there's 3 particular projects that I took note of. I know there's more. I'm sure you probably have, you know, a couple more to add to this list, but I want to start with the project from our guy Weeze the Satellite Kid. So he dropped his project Scatterbrain, and dude, I'm telling you, he set that bar high super early for indie CHH.
He did set that bar high, and if you don't know who Weeze is, he is part of the group Artificial Christian. They're kind of taking a break. Got some stuff each one of them's working on, but he decided he's going to keep pushing music, and man, he came out with a bang with that Scatterbrain project. Being that it's his first solo project, he was a little, going back to what we talked to a little bit, unsure and had some doubts, but I think he needs to just keep doing what he's doing, because he's doing just fine.
For sure. And then another project, Nate, that I was super excited about, you know, last year, one of my favorite releases came from Kay Sade, and she came out with her EP 111, and man, you know, I thought Meta was really good. 111 is right up there with it, Nate.
Yeah, she keeps stepping up her game. I don't know if anybody else is aware. A lot of the guys like this do this too, but she also mixes, masters, produces everything she does. She, from start to finish, she does everything for her music, and she kicked it up another notch and keeps exploring. And is it 111 or 111? Whichever it is.
I say 111, but you know, we'd have to get her on for clarification, I guess. But I say 111.
So, however you want to say it, it's definitely early project of the year type material, and I know she's got a lot more she's working on. So, it's gonna be a big year for Kay Sade.
Let me ask you, Nate, what was a standout track for you on that project?
You know, I believe the title track 111 was one that really stood out to me. I really liked that one.
Yeah, man. You know, honestly, it's hard to go wrong with any of those tracks. It's so good, start to finish. I think for me, X on Me was probably my favorite from that project. All that to say, if you haven't heard it, go out and stream it right now.
You won't be disappointed at all.
Right. And then, man, our guy from the Pacific Northwest, Mr. Profect, he dropped his project, Beauty for Ashes, man. Totally different sound than we're talking about with Kay and with Wheeze. But, I mean, if you want to talk about a project that is transparent, that is dealing with real life, it's hard to get much more real than what Profect did on Beauty for Ashes.
Yeah, I did get a chance to listen to that one, and you're right. It's transparent. He's vulnerable. Really good stuff. He's got an older sound to him, so if that's something you're into, definitely check that out. But yeah, Profect is I think it reminded me. I could be wrong, but he's been around for a little while, correct?
Yeah, I mean he's been around for a minute. He's a part of Sheepfold Music. With our guy Get 'em Jay. So they work together on a regular basis, and I mean you can hear the similarity and the connections there. Both of them having experience that going and serving time. And that's what this project really is a reflection of. His time while being incarcerated. It's an experience that I can say I'm lucky enough to not have went through, but I feel like he portrays it and puts it out there in such a way on this project that at least I understand a little bit more what being in that situation is like. Yeah,
he did a really great job. It was that probably those are my top 3 projects right now. So I know there's been a few others, and still. I say, what other
projects have dropped in 2020 that that you want to make note of?
Off the top of my head, I really don't have any others. Those are the real 3 that stood out to me. I know there's others that aren't coming to my mind right now, but
I would say give a shout out to Rayon, man.
Yes, Rayon, that was a new one. Rayon Thomas, very good EP. Going back to his roots in Louisiana, so definitely check that out. The guys, him and Kay Thomas, his brother, also Errol Allen, excuse me. Those guys down in Cali got something going on, so keep watching those guys.
For sure. Man, let's talk about a couple of other new releases that just happened, Nate. I mean, I know that the podcast here is coming out, it's the 15th, and, if you're listening to us on the first day of the drop, so that means that yesterday, we're playing a little bit of in the future here, but yesterday, Valentine's Day, had a couple of releases, man, that we have ties to as a platform. The first one being the new single Dusty Bible from TC and Get 'em Jay. Dude, when TC and Get 'em Jay work together, there's something special, Nate. They blend really well. They play off of each other very nicely. And this is TC's first official release of 2020. Working with him behind the scenes a little bit. We know that there's a lot of really good content that's just about to drop from TC, including a new project. But super excited that it starts off with the track Dusty Bible, Nate.
Yeah, definitely excited for this one. Like you said, those TC and Get 'em Jay, they're developing a nice rapport with each other. It's becoming natural for them. So anytime those two put out a single together, definitely worth the listen. And if you have a playlist or you're following the sauce, definitely going to be checking that out. So definitely that single Dusty Bible is one to be looking for this year.
For sure. And then, our guy Little Red, we got connected with him through our Lions Den challenge last year, and it's been really cool to see the progress he's made over that time span. He's releasing his second single of the year. Also, a Valentine's Day drop. It's called Out of My Head. Man, Lil Red, his thing that he told me is he's dropping a single a month all 2020. And so, we had All These Lights back in January, which was a solid track. And then Out of My Head, another very solid offering from the Texas MC.
Yeah, it's it's nice to see some of the guys here mixing it up, kind of getting the love vibes. getting in their feelings a little bit and putting some music out too. So good stuff.
Yeah, man, and I'm going to tell you what else is good stuff, Nate, because I go back here, I think the golden era of CHH is back in the early 2000s, late 90s, that time period, and it's been just amazing to start off the year with some releases from some of the OGs in the space. You had a new single for the first time in 16 years from Mars Ill with their track Win Win, and then John Rubin dropping an EP trilogy. So, you know, he's dropped the first two. Man, this new EP with Alon called Johnny and Alani, it takes me back, man. It makes me feel like I'm back, you know, fresh out of high school, you know, rocking with John Rue, dippity doing, you know?
Yeah, I have been remiss. I have not checked those out yet. And I know you are a huge John Rubin fan. So I am definitely going to have to give those a listen here soon. The Mars Ill single is... I mean, it's like he hasn't missed a beat putting music out. Those guys are, both of them, doing great stuff. It's nice to get those older guys back in the game.
Definitely. I know you got Mars Ill on the sauce too. So if you guys haven't heard it, like I said, go follow Nate's playlist, The Sauce, and check it out. Man, Nate, with these OGs kind of coming back, it's, you know, makes me excited for this song that we're about to feature, because I feel like it kind of blends right in to that classic sound of hip hop, man. We got for the first time on the podcast the song "Be Yourself" from Real Name Darren. Man, I'm excited to play this one, Nate.
Yeah, this is a pleasant surprise. It was submitted to us. Heard it, and I knew we had to put it on the show because it's great quality music. You got that old sound to it, like you said, and it just kind of goes back into what we were talking about earlier about doubting yourself and being yourself. It's a great message, so I think everybody's going to be really pleased with this single.
Well, let's find out, Nate. What do you say we give it a play?
Let's do it.
All right, guys, here is "Be Yourself" from Real Name Darren.
If these walls could talk, how would they do it? Would they whisper soft? Or would they scream it to you? And these are just my thoughts. I'm reminded I'm not perfect. I know I'm worried about them walls talking. I'm more concerned about them closing. I'm conflicted and my thoughts should be convicted, but I'm not. Then at times I'm repentant. It's just thickening for the plot. I want you to feel my heartbeat. Hear the blood flowing through my ventricles. Feel it going out my atria. I know it sounds atypical to be real in my music. If I don't, then I'm useless. I'm walking down the wide path. I want the one that's useless. They telling me to be myself. That's easier said than done. I'm struggling with who I am. Am I the only one? They telling me to be myself. That's easier said than done. I'm struggling with who I am. Am I the only one? I remember long nights with no lights or heat. Going to bed with just a bite to eat. My mama struggling to put dinner on our plate. It was hard for me to stomach just to see Section 8. Please believe I don't glorify the struggle. I just can't get where I'm going if I don't know where I come from. Fast forward, got a wife and 2 daughters, vow to never let them know what it feels to be supported by the state. So much time I put in overtime. So much overtime makes me overtired. Being overtired makes it easier to give in to my desires. Please excuse me, I'm not trying to make excuses. I've been told that I am wise, but I know that I am foolish. At times I feel so stupid because I know right from wrong and still fight. That's the reason why I write this song. They telling me to be myself. That's easier said than done. I'm struggling with who I am. Am I the only one? They telling me to be myself. That's easier said than done. I'm struggling I am. Am I the only one? Lately, I've been wanting to talk to God more. I've been wondering what it's all for. To be honest, even though I am a Christian, our relationship's been different since the day he took my sister. Listen, I am ashamed of my decisions. So much pain for my decisions, going insane for my decisions. And even though that chapter of my life is over, I still wish that I could write it over. People watch and check to see if you have success. Others if you will fail, it depends on what they expect. As a kid, I was told sky's the limit. I could be what I want, the possibilities were endless. That's a blessing and a curse. I know heaven's in my future while reflecting on my past. I struggle with who I am while I'm present on this earth. There's still lessons to be learned. They telling me to be myself. That's easier said than done. I'm struggling with who I am. Am I the only one? They telling me to be myself. That's easier said than done. I'm struggling with who I am. Am I the only one?
It's time for the FiveTwenty podcast song breakdown, sponsored by
Show Me Christ Records.
All right, shout out to our guys at Show Me Christ Records. They're sponsoring the featured song as always. Make sure you hit up showmechristrecords.com for the latest from Daryl and the team. Yeah, man, real name Darren, be yourself. Nate, let me put it to you this way. There's a lot of stuff that I like about this song. There is one thing that I would say if I wanted to make one suggestion on some improvement, there's just one thing there. So I don't know if you'll be able to guess what that is, but I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts, and then I'm going to come back up and kind of, maybe see if we line up here or not.
Well, first off, the beat is fantastic. It's got, like I said, it's got the old sound, boom bap sound. And I don't know the technical terms, you probably have to help me, but the voice in the background, you got that old kind of that sing-song voice in the background. The message is really great. Like I said, it's about being yourself, trying to find your identity in Christ while here on this earth, knowing that you got bigger reward going in the future. But I thought overall, this, like you said, maybe a tweak here or there, but overall, I thought it was mixed really well. The beat was good. The vocals came through pretty clearly. Maybe tweak them a little bit more to hear. Beat a couple times kind of drowned them out, but overall, I hadn't heard of Real Name Darren before, but I was thoroughly impressed with this song.
Yeah, man, I'm excited that he submitted to be on the podcast. I'm excited that you picked him out, and I'm looking forward to what comes next from Real Name Darren. I'm with you, man. The sample was on point. The production I loved. It had that sound that boom bap that I'm a huge fan of. I thought Darren did his thing on the verses. They were very solid. The hook was good. If there's one criticism I'm gonna make, Nate, this is it. Whenever I had my headphones on, the bass in the verses, it was just like this constant rumble, and I felt like it took away a little bit from what was going on in there. That rumble, he pulled it out during the hook, which really made that thing pop. I think if there had been a little bit more selective, or maybe if it wasn't as constant through the verses, it would have taken it up just another notch. I'm talking about if we're putting it on a 10-point scale right now, I'm saying that it's a solid 8 for me. You fix that bass issue during the verses, and that sucker's easily a 9, possibly a 10, Nate.
Right, and I agree with you. The verses, it kind of got muddied a little bit with the bass. But yeah, overall, I'd say an 8 for this one. And I know you're going to ask, so I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know this one will be on the playlist. It's a little bit older release, but definitely deserves a spot on the sauce.
All right, man. I'm excited to hear that on the sauce. So, you guys, if you are not following it, go to Spotify, find that sauce, or go to FiveTwentyCollective.com, click the link for the sauce, make it even easier on yourself. But, it's Nate's playlist. Join it, follow it. You're going to want to hear. He updates that every week. And it's got the best in independent Christian hip hop out there, in my opinion. So yeah, man, definitely, playlist worthy. Very, very good job by Real Name Darren. It makes me excited for what will be coming from him soon, Nate.
Right. I've tried to do a little bit of research on him on Spotify. A fairly new artist, so I'm definitely excited to see what he's got coming out in the future.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, he's bringing that heat, and you know who else brings the heat, Nate?
Who's that?
Do you know who does? Let me tell you who does. It's our guy, DJ iRockJesus, brings that straight ministry heat, and I'm excited, Nate. I don't know if you could tell, but, he is our industry insider interview this month. So, man, it was a great conversation that I had with DJ iRockJesus. We broke down, just the role of the DJ in CHH, and of course the role he's going to be playing at 2020 Summerfest this year. Dude, it was a great interview. I'm excited for the people to hear it. So I don't want to hold us up. I want to jump over there. But before we do, where can people hit you up, Nate?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at IM_NateDog. That's where you find me doing my CHH thing. Try to keep you up on the newest music. I also not just adding music to the playlist, but I let you know when the single is released too. So keep an eye on that. Try to stay in the conversations in the music industry, see what's going on. So definitely follow me there on Twitter. That's where I do all my work.
Yeah. And hit me up on Twitter as well, guys. It is at EricBoston3. That's at EricBoston and the number 3. Love to chop it up with you guys. But yeah, let's jump into this industry insider interview, Nate, with our guy, DJ iRockJesus, and we'll chat next month, all right?
All right. Sounds great. This is a great interview.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Eric with 520 Collective and the 520 Collective podcast. I want to talk to you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way possible to make a podcast. Let me break it down for you. 1, it's free. That's right. No cost to use Anchor. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. So if you want to get on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and many, many more, then it's really, really easy, guys. You just set up an Anchor account at anchor.fm. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Again, make money, no minimum listeners. You're not going to find that anywhere else. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it's all in one place. So go right now and download the free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. And make sure you let them know you heard it on 520 Collective Podcast. Welcome to this month's Industry Insider interview, brought to you officially by
Bookkeeper247.com.
All right, guys, joining me on the Trackstars Podcasting Network phone line. He brings us that straight ministry heat. Joining me is Mr. DJ iRockJesus. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Man, I am all right. I'm loving that we're able to get you on the 520 Collective podcast here. Man, you've been doing this for a minute, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a blessing, man. I mean, I've been praising God every day since I've been doing it, man, because to still be relevant today, it's a blessing. So I've been definitely thanking God.
Right. So, we're just rolling into 2020. What's going on in your world? I mean, obviously you got the radio show, you got the mixtapes. I mean, just tell us, kind of give us a rundown of what the new year is looking like for you.
Well, the new year looking out for me, man. I'm definitely planning on doing some traveling. I'm working on my album I've been trying to do for the past couple of years. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of that here and there. I'm planning on doing, definitely doing more mixtapes and just doing a lot of traveling. That's about it.
Awesome. How's the show going, man? I mean, obviously, you've been running that for quite a while now.
Oh, the show is doing well. I mean, I think right now I'm on like 12 stations, which is a blessing because I get to share, all these great artists out here. So the show is doing really great. And now I'm starting up with my first top 10 video show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So really it's like top 10 of my favorite videos. It's not in no certain order. It's just top 10. You know what I mean? It's my favorite video. So I'm working on that.
And where are people going to be able to check that out at?
Well, it's going to be on a channel from 3HP Records. They have a cable station, a cable channel on his network. So it's like channel 343, something like that. But I'll tell you more about that as it comes down the pipeline.
Okay. Awesome. And then another pretty cool thing that you are involved with that we were lucky enough to, be able to chop it up with MC Nice a couple episodes ago. You're going to be part of 2020 Summerfest as well. Yeah.
Yes, man. I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that.
I think it's going to be a big event, if everything comes together, like expected. It's going to be huge for the CHH genre.
Yes, it is. I mean, this is the first of its kind. It's not a concert or a conference. It's a festival. I don't know if you've seen those EDM festivals online, things like that. It's a festival like that with the sound and the lighting, man. 75 artists and 7 DJs. I'm so excited. It's all CHH. I'm excited.
Definitely, and you're one of those 7 DJs. I know that the wheels are still in motion and stuff's kind of being put together. But do you have an idea of what your role in Summerfest is going to kind of look like?
Well, I don't know yet. They're going to talk to me, I think, next week. Because I was talking to MC Nice and he was telling me about it. So I don't know the specific role what I'm going to be doing there. I might be DJing with the artist, or I'm not sure. I'm just not sure yet.
Okay, awesome. Well, and that kind of brings me to, what I really wanted to be able to chop it up with you, because, I mean, you've got this, just this vast experience within our space, and, growing through it over the last, couple of decades, that I've been involved, just as a fan and watching it from the outside, CHH has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of wondering, like, what is that the role of the DJ? How has that evolved when it comes to CHH, and how do you view that role in today's current climate?
As a DJ, well, the one thing I have to say, the CHH, they need the DJ. You understand? Because a lot of stations not playing a lot of Christian hip hop, things like that. The role of DJ is very important because we get the music out to different fans and things like that. So our role is definitely very important. It's definitely very important.
Okay, and how can artists? I mean, do you feel like they understand that importance? Are they reaching out to you guys?
No, they don't understand. They think all they have to do is just send their music to blog sites and things like that, and they feel like their music get heard. I mean, they may get heard for a couple of weeks or so like that, but most likely what happens most of the time is it goes to archive. And a lot of times people are so fast, microwavable, they really want to search out music and things like that. So they look at what they see up front. This is why the DJ is very important, because we're hearing your music all the time. We're putting your mixtapes, we're doing video shows, doing radio shows. So a lot of artists just don't get that, and I want to try to change that though.
So what is your advice then for artists? Like, how do they need to approach, connecting with DJs such as yourself to make sure that their music, gets that full potential?
I would say just contact us, talk to us, or matter of fact, sometimes when a DJ play an artist song on their show or their mixtape, whatever, and then tweet it, just retweet it. You know what I mean? And connect with the DJ. It's really easy. It's not that hard. That's all you have to do. And once you get a relationship with a DJ, you can get yourself spread to other DJs.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. It's just that simple. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. Because too many times I talk to a lot of DJs, and they tell me that when they play an artist song, the artist won't retweet it. So, and then the DJ get frustrated and stop playing the artist's music.
Right. So is there I guess kind of a proper way that artists should be looking to make those connections?
I would just say just contact the DJ on Instagram, wherever they can contact them on, and just talk to them. You know, it's real simple. Just talk to them. There's no proper way. Just talk to them. Say, hey, my name is such and such. I like connect with you, and and start like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because this genre is still growing, so it's not that hard to reach out to DJs. It's just not.
Yeah. And the kind of the way that the DJ traditionally in hip hop, they've been the ones who kind of shaped the soundscape, right? I mean, they're like help determine those waves. And I feel like kind of like what you were saying that in today's CHH, artists are just happy to get their music out on Spotify, get it on a couple blogs, and let it live for a couple weeks and then move on. And I mean that changes how that overall look of the genre comes across. I think there's definitely some opportunity here for DJs to have more of an impact. Do you feel like we've got enough DJs in order to really make this work?
Well, we have enough DJs. What I find is that some artists feel like the DJs don't have the numbers. Like, they don't have a big enough fan base. So they feel like, well, I don't even mess with him because he ain't really doing anything. But you don't know who is following that DJ.
Yeah.
You see, and that's the problem I come across. So there's DJs out here, but sometimes the artists feel like they're not big enough or the fan base is not big enough.
Right. And I think that as we're hopefully maybe growing, on the radio side of it, that can make a difference as well. I mean, you got guys like we said, MC Nice, what he's doing with God's House of Hip Hop, and a few others. Do you see that radio space being more inviting to CHH as we're moving forward here?
I think so. I think so. I would say I think so. I'm not, it's definitely a whole other thing there too with the radio station. Because a lot of times, sometimes the artists, they're not necessarily screaming Jesus in these songs. And some Christian stations don't want to play that. So it's kind of weird. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, for sure. So let's we've been talking about the kind of the artist side of it and how they can make sure we're getting into it. So if we've got some aspiring DJs as well in the space, I mean, what's your advice there, just from your experience? How do they need to build and develop, their career?
I would say, first of all, find out what type of DJ that you want to be. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a radio DJ, a mixtape DJ, or, a club, a DJ that does parties and DJ for artists, and just find out what you want to be, what kind of DJ you want to be, and just hone that craft. And don't try to copy no one else, because you see them doing what they're doing, they're making it, it may not be for you. You know what I mean? And just constantly just work on your craft.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not saying this, I also talk to God, man, at the same time. And that's what I do all the time. I ask God with direction, where to go, what to do, and who to talk to. And be humble, man, at the same time too, because I find out a lot of times, they get to a certain place and they think they made it, or they think they're very popular, they become very unhumble. They're not humble anymore.
Yeah. I think we see that. You hate to say it, but if we're being completely honest and truthful about it, I think we see that being something that pops up across the CHH, space there. And let's talk about kind of the art of the mixtape. I mean, I know that you are consistent with those, that's something that is definitely part of your repertoire. But I feel like overall, across, when you're looking at Christian hip hop, it's really changed, the approach and the thought process when it comes to mixtapes, and we're maybe not even seeing as much of them at this point. Just kind of give us, what drives you to keep putting them together, and how are you seeing the role of the mixtape, how we currently are?
Well, the role of mixtape is very important to still today. See, for a lot of times, especially for CHH, a lot of times people, they won't search out for like artists like that, but if they hear an artist on a mixtape, they'll search that artist then. You understand what I'm saying? The mixtape is very important, man, and a lot of artists get away from that because they feel like if, they don't want to pay for the DJ or nothing like that, which I understand, that's cool, I get it, but they feel like if they put a CD together with a bunch of songs on there, it's a mixtape, that's not a mixtape. So the mixtapes are very important for CHH. It's a must.
So if you're a DJ then, and you're going to, put together your mixtape, how do you need to approach that? I mean, how what's a smart way to market it, make sure that people are getting it? Because like we said, now the consumption of music just happens so quickly, and I think mixtapes are something that, they have to have those legs to them.
Well, my approach doing mixtapes is, I grab the artists that I like, I grab a bunch of songs, the songs that I like, that I put them together. And I couldn't find out if people still love it, because when I put them out there on Instagram or Facebook or my website or my app or Noise Trade or DatPiff and things like that, people are still looking for mixtapes, and that's all I do. I put them out there like that.
Yeah. Do you go into it having kind of a plan as far as marketing those and promoting them, or do you just kind of like let the listeners help you out?
No, basically, what I do have a plan on the marketing mode, but I'm marketing to my fans. You see what I'm saying? I create my mixtape fans around people that download my mixtapes. That's who I talk. That's who I market to, period. That's it.
So if I'm hearing you right, I would say that the smart thing to do, one, if you're trying to, get into this space as a DJ, just build that platform where everything's just centered around that core. And then if you're an artist, don't forget about this lane to get your music into. I mean, is that basically what you're saying?
That's it. It's so easy. Artists, all they have to do is get with DJ. It's nothing. That's old school. I mean, because like I said, at the end of the day, that's why I have a lot of artists frustrated. They create these albums and they promote them on some of these websites, and that's all they do. They don't reach out to DJs, so it's not being played like they think it's being played. So they create another album after album after album after album, and before you know, they have like 5 albums in 1 year, which doesn't make any sense. So you really need to reach out to DJs and start trying to figure out where he have a small audience and things like that. Just reach out to DJs. It's really simple.
And I think another way that artists could reach out to DJs and something that's kind of almost disappeared is, what happened to artist and DJ collaborations? I mean, you used to have so many like remixes where the artist and the DJ are working together. And I mean, I don't really even see that now. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct. You are right. I was talking to one artist about doing that, but he was so afraid of losing money, so he didn't want to do it. But no one knows who you are. I mean, we're doing a promotion of CD, mixtape with your song being remixed, but you don't want to do it because you're afraid of losing money from that song. But no one knows who you are right now. So it's really crazy, kind of weird what's going on with the CHH. I mean, when I first started doing it in 1999, it was like the music was incredible. It had some whack stuff too, but it was incredible lyrical-wise and production-wise. And back then, a lot of artists was willing to work with DJs. And we don't have that now. We don't have that. We don't have artists really want to work with DJs like that because for whatever reason, they don't want to work with DJs.
Well, and even that like live aspect as well, I mean, now you got guys I feel like that will go do a show with a quote unquote DJ that's just, hit and play on a laptop, basically. Where, like, when you're talking about, that 99, early 2000s, I mean, back then, I rocked hard with, Mars Ill, you got Manchild, and them out, and they've got the DJ right there doing his thing. John Rubin, he toured with DJ Manuel, who was just a beast on the turntables. I mean, is that live aspect something that's missing as well?
Yeah, that's missing. Definitely is missing. I mean, you have some artists that's doing that on a small scale, but that is missing. The DJ and the artist is what's missing, putting together like on live stage. Now you have some DJs doing it, but then now some of the DJs is coming from behind the turntables and they're rocking with the artist, which is that's great. I love to see that, but I miss that DJ and artist, platform on stage. I really miss that.
Yeah, well, I think so. When we're talking about 2020 Summerfest, guys, again, we're talking on the Trackstars Podcasting Network phone line to DJ iRock Jesus, who is one of 7 DJs that's going to be at 2020 Summerfest. Hopefully, that's a good starting point, man, where we can bring some of that live aspect back. Kind of showcase the DJ again and get back to some of the roots of what hip hop was, founded on, what it, came to prominence on.
Yes. I'm excited. I can't wait. I pray that's what's going to happen, man. I'm just excited about it. Just to be there, I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? That's incredible.
Yeah, and so I know it's, the 2020 Summerfest in LA this summer, over a couple of days. Are you slated to be in there for the entire run of
Yes,
it?
I'm going to be there for 2 days, for the 17th and the 18th.
Nice. And that is at the Bank of LA Stadium, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. So guys, make sure you jump on to the 2020 Summerfest website. Get your tickets now. Go and support DJ iRock Jesus. Go support those other DJs and 75 artists. I mean, I know we've got the announcement that's coming up soon on headliners and stuff, but I mean, just the stuff that we know about it has us excited, for what this means for Christian hip hop on a much bigger scale. Yes,
and he also gonna have Latin artists there too. That's gonna be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be some CHH Latin artists there, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Nice. Well, man, we really appreciate you hopping on to the podcast with us, being able to kind of break down, the current role of the DJ and where we maybe need to be. If people want to make sure to follow you to get the latest what's going on with DJ iRock Jesus, whether it's helping support mixtapes, just listening to what you're putting out on your shows, how are they going to go about it? What do they need to do to be able to make sure they get the latest from you?
Well, they can go to my website, it's djirockjesus.com. You can also go to straightministryheat.com. And my app is DJ iRock Jesus on Android or iPhone. And they can follow me on all my social media is DJ iRock Jesus.
Awesome. So, tell me one thing that you are super excited about in regards to CHH in 2020.
Oh man, to hear the music, the artists, production. I'm just excited to see what God's going to do with it, man. I mean, every year, it's something new every year. So I'm excited about the new guys that's coming up, hearing what they saying, unashamed, definitely unashamed. I'm excited about the whole genre. There's no one thing I can say I'm excited about. I'm just want to see what's going to happen in 2020.
That sounds good, man. That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, obviously here at FiveTwenty, we focus on those independent artists. I mean, are there any indie artists that particularly have your ear right now that you think people need to make sure they know about them?
Oh, let me see. Who am I playing now? I have a brother that everything costs. Look out for him. He's from New York. I don't have no particular artist. Well, really, Eshawn Burger, he's one of my favorites. And K Sparks. Okay. I don't know who that is. K Sparks is that dude. That dude is ridiculous. Of course, Jared Sanders. He's all dropping stuff. But yeah, I have so many different artists I like at different times. I guess because of what mood I'm in. But yeah. So I'm just basically excited to see what's going to happen with CHH in 2020.
For sure. And for those artists, how do they submit music to you?
DJRockJesus@gmail.com.
Ah, there it is. Simple.
Yeah. It's just simple. I try to make everything DJ Rock Jesus. It's DJRockJesus@gmail.com. Send me your tracks, send me your bios, make sure the MP3 and make sure don't say track 101 because I'm not going to listen to it. Don't do that. Don't send me that. Send me the track, name of the artist, who produced it, a little graphic, the write up, things like that. So when I listen to it and I like it, I can promote it and have everything there. So yeah.
Perfect. There you go, guys. So make sure you hit him up. Go that extra step. Make sure your music gets that life that it has in it. It's more than a weekend. It's more than a couple of weeks. This is a long-term thing. And if you're trying to make it a career, these are things you got to do. So
that's right. You have to give it to DJ. The stations are great. The blog sites are great. They help also, but you have to get your music to DJs, man. Radio DJs. I don't care if they're a DJ because they will play your music over and over.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, we appreciate, like I said, you jumping on the podcast with us. I'm really excited to see, hopefully we can continue to interact and look to build together for a long time, get you back on the show, in the future. But definitely appreciate you just taking time out of your day to chat with us. Anything you want to wrap up with?
Well, I just say, man, I appreciate you and I appreciate y'all what y'all doing, man. This is an honor right here. I'm the type of guy, I don't like talk a lot. I like seeing behind the back scenes, but I really appreciate this interview. I appreciate you and just keep doing what you're doing. I can't wait to actually meet you face to face.
All right. Sounds great, man. We'll be looking forward to it. Guys, once again, it was DJ iRock Jesus here on the Trackstars Podcasting Network phone lines, the 520 Collective Podcast, where music meets ministry and the indie artist takes center stage. Shout out to our guys at bookkeeper247.com for sponsoring this interview, and we will see you guys again on the next episode.